YouTube? What's going on? It's your boy Father Dark, and today we're here talking about the untimely demise of xdefiant. I made a short however many months ago. Probably would have been like 6 at this point back when it released. I think it released in May. I'm not sure. I think it was May or June. I'm pretty sure it was May. In regards to xdefiant and how it had just been overly hyped up, and people were, for the longest time saying that it was, oh, it's going to be the Call of Duty killer, man. Yeah, man, it's going to take down COD. There's this like weird thing in the Call of Duty like community where I think I could make a whole separate video talking about all the different reasons why I think that there's so much animosity in the Call of Duty community. It could be, because of the ego and, level of pride that people have playing this game, where everyone just constantly wants to be the best. And, there's so many people that are trying to, basically they look up to streamers and content creators, and they see these crazy clips where people are going out and they're just absolutely like demolishing people, whether it be from VPNs or two boxing or whatever, and the effects of skill-based matchmaking and how it adversely affects the 1% of players, like myself that have a positive KD, versus the other, 99% of players that are just casual players at the end of the day. They just hop on a game, and the thing is we're all casuals at something. I'm a casual bowler. I'm a casual basketball player. I'm a casual painter, and all of these things, I'm not very good at them. If you were to put me up against the top people in those particular, for me, hobbies, for other people, things that they have made a career or are trying to make a career or whatever, or take very seriously, I would get absolutely demolished, and there's no shame in that. There's no shame in not being the best at everything. And the thing is that even if you look at someone who you think is the best at something, there's someone that absolutely has demolished them or is demolishing them on a regular basis. So are they really the best at it, or are they just someone that consistently does well at a particular thing? I mean, even LeBron James, I don't follow sports very much, but I'm pretty sure LeBron James has been dumpstered on by somebody at some point. But, he's still regarded as one of the best at what he does. Nonetheless, though, that was kind of like one of the main things. The people got so caught up on skill-based matchmaking, and they've allowed it to run off with like this narrative of, oh, well, if it wasn't for skill-based matchmaking, I would be doing this, I would be doing that. Take it back to the days where we had the Christmas noobs and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, those were, fun times back when, you would get the game once it, released in October, and you had plenty of time to get everything together, just become excellent at the game. And then the people that just got the game, they jump on Christmas morning, and you just absolutely demolish them, and it's fun. But at the end of the day, though, it's bullying in a sense, right? And it's the reason why gaming and esports and stuff like that aren't really taken as seriously as other stuff. Because if you look at anything else, right, like anything else in life, and I know a lot of people say, well, I just want to get on and I want to have fun. Well, let me just give you an example, right? Let's say, anybody out there who's fathers or anything like that, you can understand, parents, period. Let's say my son wants to start at 7 years old. He's saying he wants to play basketball. I'm not going to allow him to go play basketball against a bunch of grown men who already know they've been playing basketball for 10, 15, 20 years at this point. And, he's just getting constantly dunked on. And, the mindset in gaming is that, well, that's how you get better at something. No, that's not how you get better at things. You get better at things through gradual, leveling up, right? Like, imagine if you started out a game and they immediately put you at the toughest difficulty against the hardest boss with like nothing. No, that's not how that works, right? Like, there's literally like a definition for the word fun, and it's not just absolutely getting demolished 24/7 and having to like learn on the fly. No, it's like you getting better at something gradually, right? Like they start you out, your enemies are level 2s and 3s, right? And you're level 1. And yeah, there's a bit of a challenge, but as you level up, your surroundings and your enemies level up, until you get to the end game and you're going against the final boss and he's got all the craziest stuff and you have a lot of the craziest stuff, right? But if it was done vice versa, it wouldn't be very fun for anyone, right? Now, there are some people that do prefer to just kind of be thrown into the fire and learn that way. And those are the top 1% of players. Those are the people that are the tryhards, the sweats, the super competitive people. But if you want your game to survive, you have to think about the average player. And there's a reason why skill-based matchmaking exists. It's been proven time and time again that without it, the casual player base, which is the majority, are going to go to something else. Why would the average player, after they've been working all day, that they had to listen to their wife complain about XYZ, their kids are running crazy, they just want to sit down and have fun in a game? Why would they want to be put into a lobby with me or other competitive players and just get absolutely destroyed? Like, how is that supposed to be fun for them? Especially when you have other games, Fortnite, Apex, Call of Duty, all these different games that are kind of like in that similar like niche or whatever. And that's another thing I want to talk about too, is it's in comparison to these other games and what's missing. I'll come back to that in a minute though. But why would they choose to continue to play that game when there are other options out there that will be a much more enjoyable experience for them? And as that 1% of players that are extremely competitive and extremely good at the particular game that they play, you're thinking like, well, I just want to have fun. Yeah, but your definition of having fun is just destroying other players. And that's, if you're having a good time, a bunch of other people are having an extremely bad time, and they're not learning anything, they're not benefiting, they're just getting upset, and they're just going to jump off. That's why they're not in the top 1%, because they don't have that persistence and that mental kind of like durability to where they're going to sit back and go, okay, you know what, I'm just going to keep taking L after L after L and stay on. The game knows, right? Like Call of Duty knows that when I'm playing it, if I get ran through multiple times, no Diddy, pause, heavy on that. But like if I get ran through numerous times, I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna go, what was I doing? What could I do differently this time? And I'm gonna go back in and keep trying until I get better. That's me personally, right? But the majority of my friends, the majority of people that I play with, they work 9 to 5s, right? They have very hectic lives. When they jump on, they want to enjoy themselves. A lot of them are in my age group. My reflexes haven't really slowed down because I've been gaming since as far back as I can remember. My first console was a Sega Genesis, right? And since then, there's been very, very small increments in my life where I actually completely stepped away from gaming. I'm talking about like a year and a half, 2 years at a time. But there's usually always been a console in my home. Now multiple PCs. Even my kids have PCs, right? I've always played competitive FPS shooters since they've been around. That's just my thing. That's what I enjoy, right? I don't play anything else. I'm not an NBA 2K guy. I'm not a Madden guy. Whatever. No shade to those games, but I believe anything like that, those are what I consider to be competitive games, right? Where they put you against other people. That's the reason why I don't even play zombies or anything, because I prefer actual other human beings that I'm competing against versus AI and stuff like that, right? And once again, no shade to people that are into those kind of things, but at the same time, though, like I said, my friends, they are used to these protected lobbies where it takes 8 years before somebody actually realizes that they're being shot at and they respond to it and react to it, versus when they get put into my lobbies and they literally can't do anything. And you know what happens? They instantly, I got a headache. Oh, my wife's telling me that it's time to go make dinner. Or, I got to go do this, or I got to do that. And then I see them jump off for a few minutes and then they're back on, but they have it set to where nobody can join their party, right? And they're having an excellent time probably in their protected lobbies. And those, unfortunately, are the majority of players that play these kind of games. They just want to get on and have fun. And they want to stay as far away from the sweaty, try-hard people as humanly possible. And don't get it twisted. I fully understand the argument. It would be nice if sometimes the lobbies were a bit more mixed up, right? Versus with me, I load into a match and every single person, it feels like a ranked match. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, though, is that when ranked is out, that's usually what I play because I enjoy the competitive nature of going against people that are equally as good as me or much better than me. And I have to adapt and evolve. That always happens. I start out, everything's going smooth. And then you get up to like that diamond kind of like crimson area of ranked. And then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, right? And you're just like, yo, I gotta do something different. What loadout is that guy using? What tactics are he using? What's his positioning like, right? What kind of flanking routes is he using? Is he gonna like throw that nade into my spawn as soon as I I spawn back in, right? And these are things that you have to be realistic and think about with yourself. The other thing too, people were saying, oh, well, they're not gonna have overpriced bundles. Guys, I hate to break it to you. There are two options when it comes to a game. Right? The way Call of Duty used to exist before Warzone, and Warzone only exists because of Fortnite. Fortnite completely changed how video games are designed now in the sense of like their business model and stuff, right? Call of Duty used to just release a game annually. We knew that was what was going to happen. The game was going to come out at a particular time, and then after a year, right before the next one came out, it was going to be a dead game. Right, we weren't getting any more updates for it. If we did, they were very rare and very seldom. I don't even think that they did anything like that, right? And there weren't. You got whatever came in the game, but that was it. And it wasn't until I think like Black Ops 3 maybe that they started like releasing like paid little bundles and stuff, like not really bundles but like skins and stuff for like they were more like camos, like the bacon wrap camo and all that kind of stuff, right? People say, well, they only cost like $2. Well, that's because once you got that camo, it wasn't even going to be relevant again later on. Whereas now we have a free to play business model. And also too, before I even get into that, let me just say too, maps, for example, right? You used to pay like $30-$40 for a DLC that had not even half the amount of content that we usually get when we get these little updates every couple of months for this particular game. You get numerous seasons in a game. Usually COD averages like 6 seasons that come with so much content. Like, I mean, once again, I have to make a whole different video explaining all the content that comes, right? You get all these different DLC loadouts and stuff like that. So many different things that come with the game when you get these monthly updates. And that's 6 times within that year. That's every couple of months, right? Within that 12-month time period that the game is actually relevant, right? And then even still, all the stuff that you got, you can still use to this day. Now, they did reset, initially when we went from Warzone 1 all the way up to, when Modern Warfare 2019 came out up until, what was it? Was it Cold War was the last one that we got, or was it Vanguard? I can't remember, but you guys know what I'm saying, right? We had like 4 Call of Duties in a period of time, and I think that's because they thought Warzone was going to be more of a standalone type of deal, so they didn't like build the foundation of the game to where it was actually going to last for any particular amount of time, right? But now I think that they realized that like Warzone is the more popular of the games, so they're building there, and they're still making the multiplayer, right? Like they haven't completely abandoned it, and I think that's fine, right? Because I like to like play multiplayer to level up and get my camos and stuff, but then after that, like a lot of people nowadays, once I'm done with that, I don't really play it until there's a new season comes out and there's new loadouts and stuff for me to level up and different things, challenges and stuff that are much easier and more efficient or time efficient to do in multiplayer. And then once that's done, then I go show off all my stuff in Warzone and flex on people and play ranked and all that kind of stuff, right? And I'm not saying that's everybody. So like it's good that they still have multiplayer because there are a lot of people that do still like multiplayer. But I guarantee if we were to look at the numbers though, way more people play Warzone than they do regular multiplayer. And you could argue that it's because it's free to play, but I think it's just because, just like Fortnite or Apex or anything else, it's because there's a battle royale. And, that brings me to my next point, right? I know people don't like to hear it. But the point of the matter is that, or the fact of the matter is that we have been spoiled by games like Fortnite and Call of Duty, and even Apex, which has been slowly adapting over time, realizing that you can't just have Battle Royale or your standard multiplayer like 6v6 type of deal. You have to have not only that, but then you have to have like some type of alternative mode, kind of like how COD has zombies, and then Warzone. And even now we're getting to a point to where people are starting to crave extraction shooters and stuff like that, like DMZ, Tarkov. After this video, the day after this video, we're going to be getting Delta Force, which is that was an amazing game. It was one of the first games in a long time that's actually got me away from COD. Now the views on it for me weren't great, but I do have a channel that is like solely kind of dedicated to Warzone. I'm not like a variety gamer type of person, so I think maybe it would just take a little bit of time to kind of get my audience over onto that, or to attract more viewers that are into those kind of games. But nonetheless, though, like I was saying, if you create a game and your whole thing is like, well, we're just gonna have multiplayer. Okay, well, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of the fact that the multiplayer base is a very small niche of people nowadays. Like, that's where it started, because we didn't have anything else. See, when you don't have something else, you don't. Just imagine, like, you're driving a Honda, right? That's because that's all you can afford, is like some beat up Honda. Like, that's how most of us start out, right? We get like that first car, unless your parents are rich or something, but we all start out, we get the beat up car, it's whatever, but once you get to a point in time in life, like where I'm at, where you're a grown man, you got a mortgage and stuff, I expect a higher quality of car, like the cars in our driveway are brand new. You know what I mean? Like brand spanking new, all the nicest, fanciest stuff. We got Android Auto, smart cars. You can start it up from your phone, all that kind of jazz, right? And that's the whole point. Just like playing a game, you start out, you have very low tier stuff, and then it gets a little bit better, then it gets a little bit better, and then you get to a point where you're like, yo, I got the flaming sword of Goliath and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever, right? That's how it naturally kind of goes. And that's how we are with gaming now. When I first started out, games were extremely simple. I thought I thought Sonic the Hedgehog was the coolest thing ever when it first came out. But that's because I had nothing else to compare it to. Do you think if you would have shown me all the games that exist now, and then I looked at Sonic, that I would have been like, yo, this is the best thing out right now? No, like, and that's just being honest. And it's no disrespect to things. That's how things work in life. We started out with a Model T in regards to cars, right? And that was amazing, because prior to that, people were using horses, right? And now we have Ferraris and and supercars and all types of stuff, right? So it's just the natural evolution of things. And if you want to stay back in the old times and drive a Model T around, don't be upset that no one else wants to drive a Model T. It's just the natural progression of how life works. And that's okay. And the frustration that a lot of people have, because I saw there were so many people who, they deemed this game, the COD killer, right? It's going to kill COD. Why does something have to kill COD? Why can't you just stop playing Call of Duty? Why do you need other people to stop playing the game for you to enjoy other stuff? Like, that's the problem, and these developers who, like I said, they latch onto this idea of, we're going to make our game successful without a battle royale. Good luck with that, because I'm going to just keep it real with you. I don't want to play a game that doesn't have a battle royale. I will give other aspects of your game a chance, right? Like, but you have to have that to keep me entertained and a lot of other people. COD has found a way to say, okay, well, we don't want to completely abandon our core, principle of the fact that we're multiplayer 6v6, FPS at heart. But at the same time, though, we're going to adapt and look at where it is. Top 3 of every year for the last however many years of games sold and, downloaded free-to-play games, whatever, right? But it's always in the top 3. The other game that's in the top 3? Fortnite. And what does Fortnite do? Literally whatever it wants. It has even given people the ability to create their own games, as long as you don't use other people's IPs and stuff like that, right? But outside of that, you can do whatever you want. I said in a video that I made yesterday, my 7-year-old plays Fortnite religiously, and I seldom ever see him actually playing the Battle Royale. He'll play it for a little bit, but for the most part, he plays a lot of like the random, just like party fun modes and stuff like that, where people don't even, there is no competitive nature to it. It's just people hanging around flexing skins and emotes and stuff like that, right? So like, once you give everyone the ability to be able to do whatever it is that they enjoy personally within your game, and you don't set any limitations, what do you know? You get 14 million concurrent players. And, even COD could like learn something from them. Like if they were to open up and make, I know like when they did that thing for Halloween, I forget what it was called. I think it was like Purgatory or something like that, where, it was basically just like a giant sandbox. You could drop into it. I think the lobbies lasted for like 3 hours or something like that. Imagine if there was just a thing like that where it never ended, never started. It was just from the beginning of the season or whatever it was, it just existed and it was just always there and you could just always drop in. Now, they more than likely will do something like that one day. That was like a test for them, right? But all I'm saying is that you have to stay fluid, and you can't let emotions get into it to where you're like, well, I'm going to listen to my base because they're complaining about how, Battle Royale is ruining gaming and the Fortnite skins and all this other stuff. Bro, it's what makes money. Who cares about your personal opinions? If somebody's like, yo, do you care what Billy Bob over here is saying about these colorful skins or all these different crossover bundles or whatever, or the fact that, Warzone is doing this and yada, yada. No, I don't care. Do you have my $3 or $4 billion that I'm making off of this monthly from cosmetics? I don't care. I'm sorry. And in the same way you wouldn't care either if the shoe was on the other foot. But because you don't like something, you want to complain about it all the time. And then you're surprised when this thing that you thought would work out doesn't work out. It's just as simple as that, like it's not exactly rocket science here. That's why you had a lot of people, a lot of creators like me, like I said, I had made a short back in May and people were going off on me in the comments. They're just like, bro, this game is going to be around forever. And, it's excellent and it's way better than blah, blah, blah. That sounds nice. Sounds like you're in your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like when you think you've gotten over an ex, so you just go out and just start talking to anybody, and then you start trying to convince everyone that this new person is better than the old person, when in all actuality, if you genuinely were over the other person, you wouldn't even be comparing them to anything else. It would just be as simple as, I'm with this new person, and I like a lot of the things they do, yada, yada, yada. But that's kind of like what we do as human beings. It's kind of natural for us to want to, like, kind of go like, in your face. Yeah, I'm super passionate about this thing, but I don't want to say that I am, or this person or whatever. And, now I got this other thing and it's so much better. And yeah, you shouldn't be worried about that anymore. You should come over here and worry about that, but at the end of the day though, where does it really get you? You know what I mean? A lot of you that said that, I guarantee you were back on COD within days, of playing xDefiant, because it wasn't ever really truly about xDefiant. It was all about COD all along. That's why it had to be the COD killer, when it didn't even make a dent at any point in time in COD's player base or what they had going on. I wouldn't be surprised if COD wasn't even slightly affected by it. And like I said, as much as you all wanted to sit back and say skill-based matchmaking was ruining COD and all this other stuff, do you think the average player with a 0.34 KD cared about any of that stuff you were talking about or was even privy to it? No, they didn't. They just kept getting it off work after their 10-hour shift, 12-hour shift, and they were sitting on their giant couch and playing on their 55, 70-inch TV across the living room and having a great time. And you know what they weren't playing? xDefiant. So, that's my thoughts on it. But I appreciate you guys listening as usual, and let me know in the comments. Did you like xDefiant? Did you play it? Are you sad to see it go? Do you disagree with me? Do you agree? Whatever. Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.